What's up, guys? Round one of the playoffs in the books. It was a wild, wild week. Yeah, man, let's take a look at it. The first matchup we're looking at is Dem Lions 137 to Poppy 153 or 154 rounded up. You know, this one was rough, man. You're looking at Dem Lions on his bench. He left some points on the bench, man. Most notably, Miles Sanders, who had 42.6 on the bench, and that definitely could have helped him out this week. What do you guys think about that?
Sicky with 23.
Dude,
Yeah,
Adam Thielen really let him down.
Yeah,
like Thielen only getting him 6.9, and then Michael Gallup only getting him 4 points for them Lions. That really kind of put a damper on his ability to win this game. I mean, it was close. It got closer for a while. I know we were kind of texting back and forth a little bit, like, "Damn, is Dem Lions going to pull this off? Mm-hmm. Is he going to sneak his way into the semis?" But Vino Poppy ended up actually getting the lead.
Stefon
Diggs went off, for 39, and that put him over the top. But it was there, man. I mean, the game was there for the taking for Dem Lions. If he makes a different decision at his flex position, he's in the semis, so it was there for him. But it's a tough way it was a tough way to go out, man. But I think on Dino's side. Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say that's probably the worst way to lose is when you leave your points on the bench just in the playoffs, dude. Like you're just kicking yourself over and over. Like, fuck, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that?
No, what sucks is that it's Miles Sanders, man. He was I think second round draft, and so he's been starting him every time. Or as of late, he's been starting him a lot if he wasn't injured, and so he benches him this week, and this happened.
Wrong time.
Very unfortunate, man. It's.
That's what we say. You hear the saying, "You dance with who brung you," right? You dance with who brought you to the fucking dance. And if Miles Sanders, regardless of the matchup, there at the end of the year, at the end of the season, you drafted him in the second round. That's good draft capital. You kind of have to fucking go with him.
Yeah.
Unless you have like a clearly better option, but like it just was. If it's a toss up, you kind of have to go with the guy you drafted in the second round.
For sure, I think the biggest. I guess the mistake was starting Gallup instead of Miles Sanders. Like, I know Gallup had a good matchup against Cincinnati, but
still, it's the Cowboys. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that was probably the biggest fault there. Vino Poppy, I think, played his best lineup for the most part, right? He could have played a different defense. The Colts would have given him a few more points, but overall, that was his best lineup, and 153.72 isn't crazy great, but it's not bad. That's a great, it's a pretty solid score. He had been putting up he put up a huge number last week. Was it 240 or 230 or something like that? So team kind of, he had some good matchups, and surprisingly, they didn't go off like that, like I thought they were.
Yeah.
And like we said, Dem Lions could have had him, dude.
Yeah. Josh Allen
James Robinson
didn't have the same kind of game.
Allen.
The same kind of game they had last week.
Yeah, James Robinson only getting 13 points. He's been one of those guys that you can kind of rely on for right around 20. So he underperformed a little bit. And then Chase Claypool only getting him 4. I mean, it was there. It was there for the taking, and it them Lions just couldn't capitalize. But kudos for Vino for moving on, man. I mean, I know it gets a little sketchy in that first week of the playoffs, and I mean this was a sketchy game, but. Like you said, he made the right moves and he started the right players and he got through to the semis.
Got that dub.
It's funny, man. So we have our group text message, I'm sorry, with Chris, Mike, and myself. And I know Chris was like, is Dem Lions really going to pull this off? And I just sent the eyeballs, right? And at that point, it was looking like, he was going to potentially pull it off.
And then the second half of that game.
Funny enough, Dem Lions had actually sent me a picture over Facebook Messenger, and it was like it was a whiskey on the rocks, and he was like, "This is my 6th one, man." And he was like, I figured I was done in. I figured like my fantasy season was over, and I was like, Chris had just sent that, so I just looked at the score. And I was like, "Hey, man, you're in the driver's seat right now," or something to that, something to that extent. And he was like, "You better not fucking jinx me, dude." And then, 10 minutes later, Stephon Diggs goes off. And he was like, bro, he was like, dude, no shit. As soon as right after you mentioned Stephon Diggs, he's just been going off, and I was like, I'm so sorry,
dude. Yeah, dude. It happened immediately, bro. As soon as I sent that text, it was like immediately he fucking started going off. Yeah. So I felt kind of bad too.
So yeah, with that said, Dino Poppies advances to the semifinals. Before our next game, I'm going to say that we are the well-mannered cartel. We had a few. I'm Tom.
I'm Mike.
I'm Marlon.
Yeah. I'm Chris.
Yeah, and you guys watching don't need to know how many times we've done the intro.
We usually don't do it very many times, man. But this playoff episode's so different. We don't really have the same agenda. It's kind of the structure's it's fucking me all up. But anyway, the next quarterfinal matchup is Las Vegas United 170.12 over Easy 161.36. I beat my wife, but don't call me a wife beater. I look for a wife beater.
Bro, you should have worn a wife beater. You should have worn a wife beater.
I don't have any, dude. I don't know what happened. I think he pulled out. Just staring.
Dude, what I was amazed with was how do you get goose egged twice?
Bro,
and still win.
I will say
you got geesed. You got geesed, dude. You're one goose from a fucking flock, bro. You're right there. That's fucking insane. I don't think I've seen 2 goose eggs on one squad in a while. I don't remember.
170, man. So very, very fortunate to score 170 while being goosed twice, but I will attribute that to my impeccable fantasy planning for the playoffs. No, honestly, I've been planning. I think my team is kind of built. I mean, I'll have some injuries right now, but I was even though when I was 500, I was still looking towards the playoffs. I traded for a couple of guys, David Montgomery and Jonathan Taylor, both had really, really great games, and those 2 guys I had in mind late in the season and into the playoffs, which is why I traded for them. And they went off, and those guys kind of carried my squad. Devontae Adams did his thing, of course, 37.5. David Montgomery, like I said, 37.5. Jonathan Taylor, 43.5. Justin Herbert disappointed with 18.7. And the 2 gooses on my team were Mike Williams and Noah Fant. They both exited early with an injury before scoring a point in the game for me. Very, very fortunate to have scored that, scored 170 points with those goose eggs. Over Easy had a pretty decent. She was beating me for the majority of the weekend.
Yeah, I had texted you that day. I was like, hey, I think you're about to get Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I was like, dude, if I remember messaging you back, I was like, if Devontae Adams gets me the bonus, I'll be okay. And that was the difference. That was exactly what I needed, because otherwise she probably would have beaten me. But Derrick Henry, for her, 57.2. Kyler Murray had a decent game, 21.4. Robbie Anderson, 17.7. Chris Carson, 18.8. Gallman, 11.8. So, Derrick Henry definitely doing the heavy lifting on her side, and she had some decent scores as well. Solid score, but I just had a few guys that just balled out, and so I was able to pull the victory.
Had she swapped the Kareem Hunt in the flex, she would have had it.
Yeah, man. Hurts.
I know she was going back and forth.
Tight end.
Yeah, Hurts. Yeah, you're right. Mike Hurts kind of really screwed her over. That's a bad time to get less than 2 points from your tight end when you lose the game by 9 points. You lose the week by 9 points. But Tom, I know you were talking about, back to Marlon's point, she was kind of going back and forth between Gallman and Kareem Hunt the week prior, right? Mm-hmm. And then she made the switch. She made the switch this last week, and it was a bad timing for her.
She had asked me last week, should I go with Gallman or should I go with Kareem Hunt? And back to the whole, Kareem Hunt had taken her to the dance or whatever.
Yeah.
So she went with Kareem Hunt last week, and he bombed. So this week, I guess she figured I'm going to go with Gallman. Gallman's been pretty consistent. He's been the guy in New York. had a better matchup. You know, Kareem Hunt against the Ravens. You're not expecting him to have a big game like he did. So she probably made the right decision. Hindsight 2020, though, right? So I mean, that's just football, dude. I mean, I got lucky. And sometimes you need a little luck to win in fantasy football, and I think I got very lucky. And so I find myself moving on, and she's not.
Yeah, man. It's one of those things where I know she's probably kicking herself for that, but the decision making was sound. You know what I mean? Like in hindsight, like you said, it was the right decision.
Logic. It wasn't faulty logic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what happens, man. And hey, I'm just happy fucking Derrick Henry's out of the playoffs, dude. One less person to fucking worry about. And Derrick Henry had that monster. You survived the monster schedule of Derrick Henry, Tom. And we're all happy that he's gone. To be honest with you,
dude, for a while,
if you would have told me that Derrick Henry was going to score 57 points and I was going to have 2 goose eggs, I'm like, damn, I got blown out, but I won. So
for a while there, I was like, damn, dude, my prediction's not going to come true, and it's going to end up being it's going to be Haley and Chris in the final to be the tiebreaker for the season, and the shit talking is going to be uncountable.
Juicy storyline. Oh man.
Yeah, what could have been.
Yeah, the household wasn't too intense this past weekend. It wasn't that bad. Last year when we played each other, it was pretty bad. This year it was just more like, let's just not talk about it.
Your parents now, bro. You know, you gotta come down a little bit.
So exactly.
Let somebody else
grow up sometime. So it wasn't that bad. We just kind of ignored it and we played, and then that was that. But Las Vegas United is moving on. So before we get into this week's matchups, Chris's corner.
Boom. Let's get into it. Who the fuck is that guy? KJ Hamler only caught 2 balls, bro. 2 balls for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. He fucking batted 1,000 on touchdowns. 25.6 points. He's a wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. The squander, there were 2. Only 2 games that mattered, only 2 matches that mattered, and there ended up being 2 squanders. We've already talked about it a little bit. Over easy, if she would have started Kareem Hunt over Wayne Gallman, she would have got the dub. And then Dem Lions, if he would have started Miles Sanders over Michael Gallup, then he gets the win there too. And so I think it's fitting that the games are so close that we ended up having 2 squanders who left the winning players on their benches. It's just kind of like a fitting way for the first round of the playoffs to go, especially because the whole freaking season has been tight and has been down to the wire and has been nail biting. And so, I mean, there was no other way it could have gone. Really, it was pretty fitting there. The bed shitters this week, we got to start with Hayden Hurst, 1.7 points. We can't count the gooses because those guys left with injury. I know one of them was sick. I think Williams left with a back injury. And then Noah Fant fucking got a tummy ache, and so he was gone. So we had to start with this week. I don't know, bro. A lot of cramping going on. Hayden Hurst with 1.7 points from the tight end position. Not gonna cut it. Adam Thielen, 6.9 points. He was on Dem Lions' squad. Adam Thielen, he's a premier wide receiver in the league. Mm-hmm. And when you needed him the most in the first round of the playoffs, he fucking let you down. 6.9 points. And then we're gonna round it off with Michael Gallup only getting 4.3 points. Not a lot of people started him, but Dem Lions did, and he got a combined 10 points, 11 points from 2 wide receivers, and that's why he's sitting at home. That's why he's sitting at home and not in the semis. The no talent pussy. I had to go over to the losers bracket because we're gonna count them. We're gonna count them.
Oh shit!
The Flint Tropics getting 88 points. No wonder he's on that side of the fucking bracket. 88 points for the Flint Tropics. No talent pussy. Is this 3 weeks in a row? It might be.
It might be.
And we're gonna get a little sad. Let's pour them out, baby. We got to start with Deebo Samuel. Hurt his hamstring. Left like the first play of the game. and he might be done for the season. So Deebo Samuel, great wide receiver, gone for the season. And then we got to go with Debo, Tiny Tom Lister Jr., another Debo, died. Apparently, it was a bad week for Debo's, bro.
Yeah,
died. Bad week for Debo's.
Well, Deebo Samuel's nickname comes from the movie Friday after Tiny, man. So rest in peace, man.
R.I.P. Tiny, baby. Had COVID earlier in the year, beat it. Got apparently he had some COVID-like symptoms recently, and then he died. So I don't know. I mean, it might have been COVID. But it's a rough one, bro. It's a rough one. So for the two Debos, we're gonna pour them out. And then last but not least, the big cock on the block. We were talking, about how the Lady Boys were kind of stumbling into the playoffs a little bit. They were on a 3-game losing streak. They still had a bye. They didn't have a matchup, but if they did, they would have blown us out of the fucking water. 220 points. Too bad it didn't count because he was on a bye. But damn, 220 points on the week. Aaron Rodgers is on fucking fire for him. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. I think he's the QB1 now on the season. Yeah. Who would have thunk it? Aaron fucking Rodgers. But, yeah, man, the Lady Boys, 220 points. The big cock on the block on a bye. Next week's matchups. Let's go.
Okay, the semifinal matchups. The first one is Las Vegas United, myself against the Bangkok Lady Boys, who had that astonishing performance on a bye week. It's a big one, man. I think first off, I'll say these 4 teams are teams that we thought would be here at some point. We all kind of knew. Probably around week 8, week 9, these the cream of the crop rises to the top. And Bangkok Lady Boys looking really, really, really strong. Julio Jones is in my lineup right now. I don't know if he's going to play. They might shut him down for the year. That would, hinder my chances at a championship a lot, immensely. But I think that I've basically been playing without Julio for the last month.
Yeah.
So
you have some options too. You have some options.
Yeah, but like Chris said, he has Aaron Rodgers. He's going up against Carolina. I'm 50 burgers not out of the question. Dalvin Cook, he has going up against Chicago, so I like that matchup. You never know. Dalvin Cook can just go off and explode like he did last week against a tough defense. But yeah, man, it's Bangkok Lady Boys, scary squad, dude. I'm gonna go all in on him. And I'm like, sincerely, I think he's probably. I mean, he's a strong team, dude. I'm scared. I'm going all in on Bangkok Lady Boys.
Yeah, man. If you're basing it off recent performance, I definitely picked you last week to get to the final. Mostly because I was looking at the Lady Boys' recent performance, but these matchups this week are definitely going to be tough for you to overcome, Tom. But I'm sticking with my prediction and picking you this week.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at the squads, and it's kind of interesting. Like Lady Boys is starting T.Y. Hilton right now. I know T.Y.
That's my guy.
He's been great the last 2 weeks.
He has been, and he's got a history with Houston. He always goes off against Houston for some reason.
Yeah.
And that's the matchup this week.
He always goes off at Houston. It's a little nicer when they play at home. It's not. He doesn't. So
maybe that's an oversight on his part. That might be an oversight on his part. I'm looking at some of these other matchups. Calvin Ridley at Tampa. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. If Julio Jones doesn't play, I think Calvin kind of relies on Julio a little bit, but I don't know, man. That's going to be tough. If he's going to be the guy that Tampa needs to shut down, I think they might be able to do it.
Yeah, and then Mostert is questionable right now with the ankle.
Mostert is questionable. Yeah, Mostert is questionable, and then his backups there are Leonard Fournette, who hasn't been great, and even though Ronald Jones is on the COVID list now, so Leonard Fournette would get the majority of the touches there. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who has been a bit of a bust actually this year, I think, not really living up to that late first round, early second round, pick where a lot of people were taking him. So I don't know, man. I'm looking at a squad and I don't know how the hell he scored 220 points last week. I'm not trying to talk shit, but I'm just being honest. Like I think he's got the edge with Rodgers over Herbert. Dalvin Cook and any other week, I mean, against Montgomery, I would take Cook, but damn, Montgomery's got a juicy matchup, and so does Jonathan Taylor going up against Houston. So I think it's going to be close, man, but I'm going to give the edge to Las Vegas United to get to the finals. I mean, I just think it's going to happen, man. I think you're going to – I mean, it would be an upset because, the Lady Boys have a stronger team.
You just got to give the people what they want, man. We got to go bad on them. We got to give the people what they want, dude. But it's funny that you mentioned that, like David Montgomery and Jonathan Taylor. Like I'm just relying on my running backs right now, which is crazy because from most of the season I relied heavily on my receivers to get me into the playoffs, and right now it's running backs on my team that are, Montgomery's had like 2 or 3 like really good weeks straight. Yeah. So hopefully he can continue on that streak and make some noise for me.
I agree that it has the potential of being a close one. If all his guys show up, the Dalvin Cook against Chicago, the first time that he played Chicago, I think he got less than 20 points or something. So that's going to be the slight edge that you might need, Tom.
Yeah, you never know with those divisional games, man, because sometimes the defense just shows up in a way that you don't expect when you're playing in the division.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I know D-Hop against Philly, I mean, he might go off again. I know he had a good week last week, but still, man, I don't think he's going to have enough to overcome Davante Adams. I think Davante Adams has just been on a roll. So I can see Davante Adams outscoring D-Hop, easily. So I think that's another key matchup that is going to go in Las Vegas United's favor.
Mm-hmm.
So the next semifinal matchup, the second semifinal matchup, is between Los Trader Boys, Los Trader Joes, the two teams that made that massive trade early on in the year, face each other. The Bad Hombres and Vino Poppy. This is going to be a juicy one as well, man. I mean, like you said, it's
yeah, man. I think whenever Jose Vino Poppy and I made the trade, I think we knew it would come down to this. We would probably end up at some point meeting in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And whoever won this matchup won the trade. You know what I mean? I think that's what it was going to come down to. It's like whoever goes on and then to the next round of the playoffs, wins the trade. And so that's what's on the line right now, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm not going to lie, dude. I'm looking at stuff. Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say in the weeks following that trade, it definitely looked like Jose got the better end of the deal because I think he went on a little bit of a losing streak and he turned his season around from a losing streak. So we'll see how it goes this week with the matchup.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, I think Chris made. I was gonna say Chris made that trade with like playoffs in mind right now, so he might have lost a few games. So we'll find out if it works out like in your favor, like you had planned, man. But I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a juicy one, dude. You were talking about matchups. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. What I was gonna say is like, I was thinking about playoffs and stuff, and I was thinking about, really the cornerstone of the trade was Russell Wilson. I just wanted a quarterback that I could just plug in and week out. Now I have to worry about matchups, but it almost seems like in this last month, like Josh Allen and Russell Wilson have fucking flipped. Now Josh Allen's the guy. Now Josh Allen's the guy that's like matchup proof, and Russell Wilson has been struggling. So, I mean, hindsight, if I would have known that Josh Allen was going to break out of that funk that he was in when I traded him, and that Russell Wilson was going to come crashing back down to earth, I mean, I wouldn't have made the trade with Josh Allen and Russell Wilson. I mean, all the other players, yeah, but maybe I wouldn't have swapped them quarterbacks.
Yeah,
but yeah, now Josh Allen, the Denver matchup was actually a lot harder a couple of weeks ago. But Denver's got two corners that are banged up, so their secondary's banged up. They're playing with backups. And so Josh Allen now that's a juicy matchup for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he can put up a big score this week.
You know what's looking real good for your team though is Nick Chubb going against the Giants defense, dude. He can probably run all over.
Oh, I hope so, man. I hope so. And then the other part of that trade, Travis Kelce, I think he's the leading receiver in yards receiving on the year, regardless of position. So wide receiver, tight end, he's the guy that's got the most yards all season long, and so that's he's been a big addition. Like
I saw that, man. If he ends up with the most receiving yards for the season, it would be the first time in history that a tight end was a leader in that stat. So
that's wild, man. Yeah, so
that's another thing going for you right there.
So the thing is, though, it's like right after that trade happened, though, Kenny G pretty much he didn't score a single point for me after that trade happened because he got injured in the very next game and goosed me, and he's been out ever since. I think he's been out for this is like the 7th or 8th week that he's been gone, and I've been waiting for him to come back, and he just hasn't, and he's still not practicing, so it doesn't look exactly, dude. So I'm having to start like Sterling Shepard and shit. But anyway, so here's the thing. So I'm looking at his matchups, and he's got Michael Thomas, who Drew Brees isn't going to be back this week. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's still going to be what's his name?
Taysom
Hill. And then Kansas City, they actually have been a hard matchup for wide receivers. And then you got DK Metcalf. I mean, me having Russell and him having DK, that kind of like eliminates a DK a little bit. At least I know every time he gets a touchdown, I'm going to get something too.
Yeah, you get the benefit of that too.
I get a little bit of a benefit there. And then, as far as my team is concerned, I know I've been talking about you dance with the person who brought you, but dude, I have to bench Zeke.
I was going to say the same thing, dude.
And I picked up Cam Akers on a fucking whim. I saw that he was out there. I know that he was, his role was kind of growing a little bit, and he fucking had a game, dude. He had a hell of a game in week 14 against the Patriots. He got 31 points. So against the Jets, dude, it's like how the fuck do I sit that guy on my bench? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm starting Cam Akers. I'm starting Aaron Jones. I'm starting Nick Chubb. So I'm hoping to ride those 3 running backs. And hopefully they get me the win, man. But it's I'm not really that confident, dude, because I'm looking at Dino's squad, and he's got, if you look at the name value, Michael Thomas, DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, like that's 3 of the best receivers in the league, dude. So if those guys go off, it might be tough for me to keep up, but
dude, and then Darren Waller, dude, has been he had that really insane week a couple weeks ago, and then last week he still had a really good week too. So that's another one to keep an eye on for.
It worked for me last time. I took it from Tom's book, and I think I gotta do it again, Tom. I'm gonna borrow it one more time, bro. I'm gonna put it all. I'm gonna go all in, and pick Vino Papi this week, and hopefully I see you in the fucking finals, bro.
Yeah. Hey, as was the case last week, we got 2 former champs going at it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
There will be only one former champ in the finals in the championship game.
Here we are, born to be king.
But I'm gonna go ahead and say I think I like your matchups better, Chris. I'm looking at Jose's team, and although we're talking about how much talent he has, I mean James Robinson, who's questionable, is going up against Baltimore. I don't know if Jacksonville's going to be able to get anything going against Baltimore. Michael Thomas against KC. KC's stingy against receivers. DK Metcalf against Washington. And what's that other? Stephon Diggs. Denver, that's a big one for Diggs. I think Diggs has a great matchup there. But everything else, man, and Josh Allen against Denver. But other than those 2 matchups, I feel like your matchups are better. Like Cam Akers has been on a tear. He's going up against the worst defense in the league. Aaron Jones against Carolina. Brown against Detroit, Nick Chubb against the Giants, Russell Wilson against Washington. Like, I like your matchups a little bit better. So I'm going to go Bet Hombres.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bet Hombres too. Chris, because of the Cowboys boy.
Little pinch of Cowboys boys.
The only thing, like, if I was in your shoes, though, the only thing that would make me very nervous is the pair up of Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs against Denver in the playoff game. That would make me very nervous.
But I'm hoping one of their corners
I'm giving you the benefit of the
doubt. Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks, man.
It says that there's a cloud. Hopefully, there's a cloud.
Oh, chink the clouds.
That's the start. It evolves into
more clouds. Can we get more clouds?
Snow or something. Snow up in Denver.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hey man, but hey, Russell Wilson's due for just like a big game, man. I think this might be the week. It's against Washington doesn't have a bad D, but it's Russell Wilson. He can play. He can put up points against any defense on any given Sunday. So, I mean, I said, I feel like your matchups are better. Vino has a squad on him for sure. I just like your matchups better. You got a squad on you too. I'm gonna go with Bet Hombres. We'll see if we get the cream bowl, bro. We'll see if the cream rises all the way to the top.
All the way, baby. Let's go.
The cream bowl. That's a good one.
Did you pick Mike?
Well, I'm sticking with my bold prediction from last week.
There we go.
But this is going to be a close game. It's pretty exciting.
I mean, both games, man. I think both games are just going to be anybody can win. I don't think there are like clear-cut favorites on either of these matchups.
Yeah, even tough, man. Even looking at the sleeper projections, dude, these are some of the closest games I think we've had in a while. Usually with the sleeper projections, there's like a clear favorite.
Yeah, I'll tell you something about the sleeper projections though. I think Tom, your team last week was down to like 1 or 2% projection to win. Your win probability was down to like 1 or 2%. And you keep making one, bro. So by double digits, I think. So
yeah,
that's what projections are.
Advanced analytics.
Yeah, I think the projections, like during the game, I don't think the projections take into account. I don't think they project bonuses. So I think that's what happens there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You're right.
So let's good luck to all 4 teams. Big week, most important week of the season so far. And let's just hope, that both of them are great games. We don't want to blow out, man. We want to get our money's worth,
Hey, let's sweat it out, dude. Let's sweat it out on Monday. Puro pinche stat correction. I love it. Boom.
Hey, how about we make a deal? All 4 teams, you just have one player you can play. You just play one player. You bench everybody else.
Damn, bro.
I got a better one.
Russian roulette.
Get together, play fucking Russian roulette, bro. Take it to the extreme.
I want to know.
One person.
There's one in the chamber.
Why don't we all jerk off and whoever comes first wins, bro?
Either way.
Why does it gotta be?
We all win.
That's not the cream. That's not the cream I'm talking about, man.
The cream ball, baby.
Round cream.
Oh shit. Well,
all right, guys. So after this week, there will only be 2 teams left standing, and the championship will be set up after this weekend. Good luck to all 4 teams. Let's see how it goes, man. Super Liga in the thick. See you guys later.
I don't know what time.
Get cream bowl.
Good now.
Yeah, recording now.
Okay, cool. What's up, everybody? Week 1 in the playoffs in the books.
Oh!
It was a wild week.
Restart. Start over.
What? I was so confused.
Yeah, I'm so
what happened
confused right now?
So because you said week 1, I don't know. You said it like weird. Like I don't. I thought we were gonna say you threw me off, bro. I thought you were gonna say week 14, and you said week 1. And then
you should throw these in there, man. You should throw these in there as bloopers. Because something else.